Okay, so G-Type, another great week here. You can see we got the UI frame put in around the outside of the play area. You can also see that we expanded the canvas so as not to impede the play area, even though we have the additional area along the outside. And you can see that we moved the power up UI stuff from the bottom down at the bottom where K. Anthony had put in that working product for us, and moved up to the top where Curvy has put in her artwork for that. So you can kind of see how we're moving along on those, and the level hasn't changed a whole lot. But here we go. Team G, we're up to 17 on GitHub, and 12 people have provided their Twitter handles for the Screenshot Saturday. So if you want to be included on that, please just go into the Trello and add your Twitter handle to that. We're up to 20 members on Trello and 31 participating on the Slack channel. So we're growing and looking really good. Some lessons learned. For our Dream Racer, we posted it to itch the first time on launch day, and we had a number of small things that we had to fix before the game was actually fully available for others to play. And there were differences in the frame rate. And again, that game was frame rate counting in order to do a lot of its animations. So that mattered a lot. So actually the game was sometimes quite a bit harder to play and sometimes quite a bit easier to play depending on what your frame rate was. And that was dependent on which browser you were using. So that was an interesting complication there. There's the whole click to play audio thing where the Chrome switched to recently and that Safari's been doing for a long stretch. We had several files where we thought the capitalization was one way, but it was actually another way. And it was actually a little bit challenging to identify which files those were to correct. So if you upload to itch early, you can do that and make it basically a private upload so others can't see it, but you can run it yourself to make sure you're not having any of these problems. And if we do that regularly, then it should be a little bit easier to identify when those things crop up. And then one thing we noted, we did, 5 or 6 uploads on the first day as we tried to work through it, and having to wade through various different folders and files to make sure we had uploaded all the correct things was a little bit more challenging than it needed to be. We could have put everything that isn't supposed to be uploaded into a single folder called working files or whatever, and then everything outside of that folder gets uploaded, and it's just easier. So some lessons learned from launch day on Dream Racer. So here we go for the artwork. At first, it was a little bit of a slow week for art, and then it really came through in the last 72 hours or so. A couple of things updated, enemy bullet 2, the little discs that rotate there, and then the player missiles. Now, I'm not happy with those missiles. Those are the ones I drew. Would like for somebody else to go in and do a much better job of that. We got the 2 new frames for the outside of the game, the UI there. You can see down in the bottom right corner of the slide. I'm looking forward to getting those into the game. I think it'll look really great. Got a bunch of concept art from Jeff about different ships, both the player ships and enemy ships, looking really good. Also gave us that custom game font that I was really looking forward to getting. So I'm excited to get that into the game. I think it's going to make a big difference there. Kirby also gave us the Ghost Ship UI and some warning lights that we're going to put on the outside of the frames, so that when so the players get just a little bit of a warning before things show up on screen. So that'll give them a little bit more time there. Looking next week, we've got a couple of more power up UI images that we're looking for. The actual Ghost Ship sprite sheet. I know we got Zach was looking at updating, working on that. So more enemies, both ground and flying. More boulders or enemy platforms, just something that we can put like a ground-based enemy ship on that could be resting on that floats down the screen, something like that. Just more variety so we can mix it up as the level advances. For audio, we got the destructible bubbles that are at the end of the current level. It makes popping noise when you destroy them, which is awesome. Chris gave us the shield activated. Now, it's not in the game yet, so I can't show that, but looking forward to getting the shield the shield power up activated so we can start hearing that audio. And then Pseudoludo last week gave us the player explosion, but we weren't able to show that last week, so it's in the game now. For next week, still looking for some music for levels 1 and 2, possibly some game over music, getting to the point where we might start looking at boss music if somebody's interested in trying to do something like that. For special effects, hey, when there's a capsule on the screen, you pick it up, would like to hear some sort of audio indication of that. Would like to have a different special effect for when you activate the missiles or the double or the laser, as opposed to when you activate the shields. Just differentiate those 2 different types of power-ups. We already have the explosion, so when the player is hit but doesn't have shields, that's the explosion sound, but would like to give some sort of audio indication when the player gets hit, but the shields protected them. So there's some indication there. For code, Jeff Hanlon gave us the resized player sprite that he built, so that was great. It's in the game. It's on the menus for the bullets and also the cutscene. And we'll get to see that here in a little bit. And Krister expanded his Nebula color background to all the other screens in the game, so it's not just the gameplay screen. And Zach implemented the bubble popping sound that he included, and then Ian gave us a practice commit, which was awesome. Next week, looking to continue incorporating assets, both audio and art, that get added to the game. Got some extra Lives UI that we can add in there. We like to get the shields added in, and continue design and development of the Force. So for some design stuff, most of the design stuff we did this week was discussion in the chat channels, or excuse me, in the Slack channels. So if you're interested in participating in the game, you can do that even just via the Slack channel and help us discuss design questions that are coming up. So one idea we had, hey, I've been talking about ghost ships for a long time, but is ghost ship just a word, or does it stand for something? So maybe it stands for G-type hybrid orbital strike technology. Something like that. Give us a little bit of meat to start to hang a story on. Looking for that, and please come join us in the Slack channel to talk to us about design, about the game in general. So really pushing on, starting to move forward with the story. Like I said last week, I think that if we can start to nail the story down a little bit, we can start working on an outline for the game trailer, and I think that would be really a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. Marketing this week. So we got the update videos that we did. So the pitch video is out and week 1 is out. So we got the 352 views of the pitch video and 232 of the week 1 video. So we're moving right along there, doing pretty well. A screenshot Saturday. I put both yesterday and a week ago, so you can kind of see how we're doing. You can see that yesterday's has actually exceeded last week's in a number of measurements there, the important ones, right? The media views and the actual total engagements. And I think that part of the reason for that is because we had a number of team members chime in and respond and replies to that tweet saying, hey, this is the piece of the game that I worked on. And then we were able to reply to that. And I think that when there is some discussion about a tweet going on, that it bubbles up to the top and more people get the opportunity to see it. So would like for us to continue to push on that idea. I'll post the screenshot Saturday, tweet, and then if team members want to jump in and say, hey, this week I did this piece of it, and you can see it at second, 14 of the video or whatever, something like that, so that there's something to discuss a little bit. I think that will really push it forward. But I think that's what you're seeing here. The LinkedIn devlog post, I got a few more views on that. No more likes or comments from last week, but it moved forward a little bit. And then the week 1 video release that Chris posted did much better than the one that I posted last week. So you get the stats on that. So we're moving along on the marketing. I think that it's kind of fun to practice this and see kind of how it goes, what we can do to kind of tweak and increase the visibility on different things that we're doing. So I think we're moving right along. Go ahead and switch over to a demo. So the music starts out real low to begin with, but hopefully you'll be able to start hearing it soon.
Yep, it's coming through.
Okay, there we go. So we increased the speed of the player sprite, but we also decreased the firing rate. So, and it might be too slow, but we're still working on that. But you can see I picked up a power up, and that first circle is highlighted. So I hit return. Now I'm faster than I was, and I picked up another power up. Let's see if I can get one more here and activate. So there's the explosion. You can hear the bubble. Let's see if I can get through here today. Okay, so missiles. So that's kind of where we're at with the game right now. So it's looking really good. And then the last item here is going to be the Trello. So look at the schedule here for a second. So here we are in week 3. Got a few items left here, but we're coming right along. You see the ghost ship is a big piece of what we are going to push forward to next week. We've got a couple of layout things. Kirby and I have had some discussions about how the credits layout can go. And so we're moving forward there. And next week, let's get some cheat codes in there so that we can be super powered as we move forward. Start getting shields in there, and maybe some more music and lots of artwork here. So would like to have some of the foreground artwork go by to increase our parallax stuff, and a little more game design. So I think that is it for GTech.